Attention agents, welcome to the Explainer. Today we're initiating a high-level tactical briefing covering the official, finalized developer notes for Year 8 Season 2, which, as you know, is titled Into the Dark. Both public test server phases are officially in the rearview mirror, the devs over at Massive have sifted through absolute mountains of community data, and we finally have the confirmed picture of the battlefield right before deployment. So, if you want to know exactly what survived the testing phase, what got reverted, and what you need to equip to survive out there, you are absolutely in the right place. But hey, before we unpack all this intel, I want to take a brief second to celebrate a seriously incredible milestone. Guys, we just hit 182 subscribers for the Division Dispatch. To the active roster who've been riding with us, thank you so much for your incredible support and engagement. It means the world. And look, if you're a new agent just stumbling onto our tactical network today, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to join the ranks. We deliver structured, no-nonsense intelligence, and we'd absolutely love to have you on the squad.
Okay, let's dive into this briefing's operational categories. We've got 4 primary mission objectives today. 1. Community wins. 2. Mutator shakeup. 3. Dark Zone upgrades. And 4. PvP balance and launch. Let's get right to it.
Objective 1. Community wins. Here's a look at the gear and reverts confirmed for live.
So for anyone who was following the PTS phases closely, you know there was a ton of anxiety, downright panic about some pretty steep economic changes being proposed for the gear system. Well, you can officially breathe a massive sigh of relief. The planned vendor price increases, they've been completely scrapped. Escalation requisition vendor prices are staying exactly where they are, 5 tokens for a random cache, 10 for a specific one. And even better, you know that brutal Augment reroll cost we were all terrified of? It now firmly caps at 6 prototype cores from the 3rd reroll onward. Honestly, this is just a phenomenal win for our overall time investment.
So the crucial point is that farming escalation missions is going to feel so much more rewarding, and thankfully far less punishing. Group leaders are getting much more generous token drops. If you fail a tier, the penalty has been reduced, so climbing back up isn't just a soul-crushing grind anymore. Plus, prototype gear is officially returning to crate drops inside escalation missions. Even running tier 0 is going to net you a token per player. Add in the fact that Augment upgrade costs have been smoothly rebalanced to be cheaper early on, and your progression curve is going to feel incredibly satisfying.
Objective 2. The Mutator shakeup. Let's talk tactical battlefield modifiers.
All right, the battlefield conditions out there are shifting dramatically, and your tactical approaches are going to need to evolve. First and foremost, and please cue the applause, Anchor has been completely removed from all tiers. I know, right? Unbelievable. Hotfoot has been pushed way back to start at tier 7. Unyielding no longer grants full immunity. Instead, it just cleanses all status effects once at a specific armor or health threshold. And Harvester? It finally has a clear, actionable counter. It is fully disabled on NPCs the very second you hit them with a grenade or any status effect. That is a massive tactical advantage if you're running a crowd control build. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the introduction of a brand new threat, the Variety Pack Mutator. Starting at tier 5, this literally forces you to actively swap your weapons every 3 kills or else you suffer a debuff. This brilliantly counters that lazy meta strategy of just leaning heavily on a single primary weapon the whole time. You're going to have to make sure your secondary is just as lethal, and you'll be actively adapting your loadout mid-firefight. It's absolutely going to raise the skill ceiling.
Objective 3. Dark Zone major reward upgrades. Time to look at loot and operational mechanics.
Let's escalate the energy here a bit, because if you're a dedicated loot farmer, you are going to want to pay close attention to this. The operational mechanics of the Dark Zone are getting a major overhaul that will completely change your extraction routes. 20 minutes. That right there is the new magic number. Landmark chest cooldowns have been drastically reduced from a sluggish 30 minutes down to just 20 minutes across all Dark Zones. This means faster respawns, much faster clears, and a drastically higher volume of loot flowing through your sessions. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why those faster cooldowns matter so much. The developers are laying out a super clear risk versus reward ratio for exotic component drop rates. Look at this. If you're willing to brave the intense threat of rogue agents in the PvP Dark Zone, you're looking at a huge 40% drop chance. But hey, if you prefer dealing strictly with the environmental threats of the toxic PvE Dark Zone, you still get a really generous 25% drop chance. Either way you play it, this is a significant buff to the economy.
Let's break down the granular tactical intelligence for each zone. Across all DZs, key drops from bosses are now up to 20%. In the PvP DZs specifically, bosses now drop exotic components at a 33% rate on challenging and a staggering 48% on heroic. But check this out. The PvE Toxic DZ offers a monumental win for cooperative play. Landmonk chests now drop loot for all nearby agents, completely regardless of whether you're in a formal group or not. Add in guaranteed canister caches, and the fact that bosses now drop stabilization agents? Yeah, the Dark Zone is absolutely going to be the premium farming destination in Season 2.
Objective 4. PvP Balance and Launch Day. Let's go over the final pre-launch adjustments.
So, before you grab your gear and drop into these newly upgraded Dark Zones, you need to know exactly how the gear tuning has shifted. Let's talk about the Caduceus Assault Rifle. The devs originally intended to heavily cap its critical hit healing at just 2%, but once again, community PTS feedback prevailed. Players proved that pushing it just a little bit higher wasn't going to break the meta, and it is officially locked in at a solid 3% critical hit healing. This is for sure going to make the Caduceus a truly viable self-sustain option when you're caught in those intense extended firefights.
Let's move to and see how this builds into the wider meta. Heartbreaker, it's getting a tiny micro-nerf. Damage output and bonus armor gain are reduced by just 0.1%. Nothing crazy. Core strength is getting a really nice 5% overall talent buff, while skill efficiency is safely remaining at 10%. But guys, here is the real kicker. This is literally just the tip of the iceberg. The full PvP rebalance coming in the patch notes covers over 350 individual pieces of gear. Loadout diversity is about to completely explode. So, the big question, when does all of this tactical intelligence become a reality? Lock it into your calendars, agents. Launch day is Tuesday, June 16. Get your builds ready, coordinate your squads, and prepare to adapt to the new sandbox. And remember, the very moment those full patch notes drop detailing all 350 gear changes, the Division Dispatch will have the full breakdown live right here on the page for you.
Well, that concludes today's explainer, but I want to leave you with one final question to chew on. Which of these confirmed changes has you the most fired up heading into Season 2? Is it the massive relief of the Augment reroll cap? Is it those crazy high reward buffs waiting for you in the Dark Zone? Or maybe it's the tactical shift of the new mutators? Sound off in the comments below. I want to hear what you're thinking. Stay sharp out there, agents, and I will see you in the dark.